Hi everybody, Michelle McClunan, astrologer and life navigator, and I'm bringing you an astrology update for the next full moon, which is happening on the 17th of October in the sign of Aries. This is a really big full moon, literally. It's a supermoon, so it's even more powerful because it's closer to us, so we feel its pull and we feel its energy more. And we can feel the energy of a full moon a few days before and a few days after the full moon. So you may be feeling this already, particularly if you have anything in the cardinal signs of Aries, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer. You might be feeling this more intensely than others. So if you do, just make sure that you breathe over the next few days, because it's a very powerful one in terms of its alignments. So let me just try and explain it to you. So 2 weeks ago, we had a new moon in the sign of Libra, which is where the sun and the moon come into a conjunction, which means they're together at the same degree. And then 2 weeks later, the moon has moved on and the sun has moved a bit. And now we have an opposition between the moon and the sun, which is the full moon. And full moons, obviously, when the sun is lighting up the moon is our emotions. So the sun shines its light onto what our feelings are, issues around home, issues around our nurturing, issues around our safety and security can be highlighted at full moon. So if you are feeling unstable, then you can feel a little bit more unstable at full moon. However, if there are issues to be seen, you'll also see the issues more clearly at full moon. It's like the light of the sun is shining on those issues so that we can heal and we can release. So this full moon, we have the moon as well as Chiron, the wounded healer, which I've spoken about before. So there's a lot of healing energy around as well. And we have the dwarf planet Eris. Eris is known as the Greek goddess of strife and discord. So mythologically, or in Greek mythology, she was the stirrer up of trouble. When uninvited to a wedding, she got very angry, caused a squabble, caused a quarrel, and apparently was partly to blame for the Trojan War. So the energy of Eris is known as a very strong feminine energy, but it's a warring kind of energy. It's a strife energy. When you combine that with the moon in Aries, Aries is a fire sign. It's a cardinal fire sign. Cardinal meaning the first fire. So if you had an analogy for Aries, it would be the striking of the match, the first fire. Let's go. Let's not wait. Let's just proceed. Let's move forward directly, direct motion, and let's get things going. That's what Aries is so good at. Now, that's very powerful. It's a very powerful full moon in terms of shining the light on what we really want to achieve, what we really want to bring into our lives, setting those big intentions. It can give us a sense of bravery and courage to launch new things. So that's on the positive side. However, when you look at this full moon, it's not only in a conjunction or an alignment with Chiron and Aries, it's also in what we call a square to Mars, which is the ruler of Aries, as well as in a square to good old Pluto. So what that's doing in the sky is it's actually forming a grand cross. So it's like a box, like a red box. It's called a grand cross or a grand square. And that is a tension square. For me, that energy, when I see it in a personal chart, it's a little bit like a pressure cooker energy. It feels a little bit anxious, to say the least, and it can be a strife-filled energy, simply because we've got these alignments with Aries, with Eris, and then these alignments with Mars and Pluto. Mars and Pluto are moving into an opposition over the next few weeks. They're in an opposition now, but they're moving closer and closer, which is going to become exact almost around the time, I think the day before the election, the American election. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how that energy plays out, because it is an alignment that is known to be aligned and to be accompanied by sort of a lot of competition, envy. It's an intense energy. It's a battling kind of energy. So on the one hand, we have this very powerful Grand Cross, which obviously can be strife-filled. If you look at Aries and you look at Libra, Aries is about me, Libra is about you. what I want, what should I give you? How do we cooperate? It can be a selfish energy. It can be a self-contained energy, depending on how you look at it. It can be the energy of stepping into your own authenticity, into your own power, into your own uniqueness, which is the positive. On the negative, there can be these warring factions. So whenever I see a grand cross, I kind of see that if you have to go into the middle of that grand cross, that is where the balance point is. If you get caught and drawn into the squares, then it can feel very stressful and it can result in conflict. So that's the one side of this full moon. Powerful and intense. It can be kind of primal almost. It can also bring things to the surface in terms of our insecurities about family, about home, about our upbringing. It can bring issues of the inner child. With Mars in Cancer, that's one of those effects, is that it can actually bring those issues up. It can bring deep, very deep emotions connected with feelings of insecurity, feelings of not feeling like you're home, for example, looking for home, looking for security, looking for peace. The other theme is looking for justice, looking for fairness with the Libra axis. The more we look for justice and peace and fairness in the outside world right now, we might find that we don't find that. Because where do we find it? We find it inside. So again, you go to the center of that square, you breathe, and that is your center of power. That is your center of peace. If you get caught up in the maelstrom of energy surrounding us, be it in the media, be it people in your environment, being the chaos that surrounds us in the world right now, you can actually feel that spun out. That's that kind of energy. Now, we also have a very supportive pattern in this full moon, so it's definitely not bad news. We also have what we call a grand trine, and that actually connects in with Pluto to actually form a kite. Now, the grand trine is a water trine. It's a trine, which means that 3 planets are in a triangle together. Venus, which is at 29 degrees of Scorpio, is in a trine to Neptune, and those two are in a trine to Mars. And that trine is in a smaller triangle to Pluto. So that configuration, that pattern, if you feel into it, you can imagine that these blue lines connecting all of those. It's a much, much gentler energy. It's the energy that you can wash away, that you can clear. Now, in that configuration, we've got Venus, Neptune, and Mars in kind of late degrees of water signs, which means that there's a clearing, there's an ability to let go, there's an ability to wash through these things that might come up, allow yourself to feel them, and then allow yourself to let them flow out. Don't get caught up in all the drama. That's what I'm seeing this as, the power of water, the power of release, letting go of that which we don't need. Pluto, as I've spoken about a lot over the last few months, Pluto is in the final degree now of Capricorn before he moves into Aquarius in, I think it's the 19th, 20th of November. So he's in his final degrees of Capricorn before he moves into Aquarius forever. He will never move into Aquarius again in our lifetimes because he takes 248 years to go round. So Pluto being kind of involved in that grand cross as well as the kite, the way I see it is the clearing of the old conditioning. Now Pluto in Capricorn has been very associated with top-down governments. You will do this, you will not do that. And it's really that sort of last-ditch attempt to control the population. Really, that's what Pluto in Capricorn is. Now with it moving into Aquarius, that move is going to definitely play out in the power coming back to the people. So the people saying, no, this doesn't work. This is what we actually want instead. And we can see those patterns going back to the last time Pluto moved into Aquarius, which was the American Revolution, the French Revolution. So we're going to be seeing a lot of that as Pluto makes his way through Aquarius. And so this is really about For me, it's about letting go of that which is holding us captive. Think about the square. And moving into an alignment with our true essence. And our true essence lies underneath the drama, underneath the mind, underneath the polarity. It lies in the middle. It lies in non-duality. It lies in coming back to peace as often as you can, as regularly as you can. As soon as you feel yourself taken up into the worry, into the anxiety, which can actually be the collective, you can be feeling into the collective, bring yourself back into the middle, especially by the breath. So breathe in and breathe out slowly. So breathe out for longer than you breathe in, and that starts to relax. If you see the mind going a little bit haywire, just bring it back. So that really is the spiritual journey, is bringing your attention back to what is real. And what is real is in the middle and never changes. You can also see it as the middle of the scales, which I spoke about in my last video. You can have a look at that. It might still be relevant. You bring yourself into the middle of the scale when you feel yourself wobbling on either side. Yes, no, right, wrong, good, bad. Bring yourself into the middle. And that's where the center point is. That's where love happens. And that's where our power is as humans. So all in all, a very intense, very powerful, very creative full moon with this grand trine in water. Take some time out if you can over this full moon to connect with water. Go along for a walk on the beach, and it'll actually help to dissolve that which you don't need. Maybe write something, maybe take a few rocks and throw them into a river course. Just something where you're actually working with the elements and using the power of the water to actually calm down. The other thing that you can do over the full moon is infuse your intention into water. So you can put water under the light of the full moon, infuse it with your intention, and then leave it. And you could sip it over the next few days. And each time you sip it, consider that intention. And that intention could be something about, just being at peace. It could be connecting more with the vibration of love. It could be letting go of old patterns. Whatever that is, you can actually infuse that and continue to actually bring yourself back into that beautiful vibration. There's a lot of work being done right now, a lot of research being done on the qualities of water and the power of water. You can follow Veda Austin for more of that, Veda. She's incredible. She's doing incredible work with revealing the unbelievable intelligence of water. So I think that will help also to ease these energies at the full moon and before and after the full moon. I did draw a card, but just before I read that, if you're enjoying this and you're finding it helpful, please would you remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Like it because that puts it out to more people. Comment, I'd love to hear your comments, and share it if you think it's useful and other people might benefit. So the card I pulled was again from the Divine Feminine pack because I feel that we need the feminine energy right now. And it's the card Saraswati, which is the goddess of self-knowledge. And her message is the essence of who I am flows effortlessly into everything I create. So I connect that with this beautiful kite pattern. Saraswati represents the self-knowledge of who we are so that nothing impedes the flow of creativity from the soul. Her name is a fusion of the Sanskrit words for essence and the one self. Saraswati's name translates then as the one who leads to the essence of self-knowledge. She's considered to be a river goddess or a feminine deity with the healing flowing waters. She's venerated as the goddess of music, the arts, and learning because of this association with waters that heal and purify. Her iconography often associates her with a white lotus. That's a lovely image too, symbolizing the purity of wisdom her energy brings. So that's beautiful. When your soul selects this card, when we're aligned with the essence of who we are, then what needs to be communicated through us, whether with words or music or artwork, can flow. When our creativity or we feel blocked or stagnant, it isn't because the waters have dried up. We might fear this, The truth is that self-awareness is the key to unlocking the creative flow. Beautiful. When we take the time to return to the essence of who we really are and nurture that essence, we realign again with the river of expression that the soul generates. Saraswati is the reminder that anything we create that purifies us in the process of making it is a blessing. Our art should be judged not on popularity, but on its power to transform us. Saraswati is a call to return to the essence of our true self. The energy of her card is a charge for more self-knowledge, more awareness of our unique soul and what our needs are in this moment. She leads us back into that finely attuned space where we can express with ease and grace what the soul desires most to share. And that energy feels like a river moving through us. It heals, it liberates, and it inspires others to return to their own essence as well. The Soul Voice meditation, which is a question that we could ask, is what is one word to describe the essence of the true self? That's beautiful. And then if you find that word, you can focus in on that as a mantra. In your meditation, in your full moon connection, you can actually focus in on that one word. And again, the intention, the essence of who I am, flows effortlessly into everything I create. So that's a lovely message from this beautiful pack, and I hope that that helps to give you some guidance to navigate the next few days, the next few weeks, until we see you again at the next new moon. If you would like to see how these really, really big alignments, especially Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus, are playing out in your chart as well as Saturn, then you're welcome to contact me via my website below, and we can set up a session. I've got a few weeks delay, a waiting list, but just email me, we can set that up for you. Take care, have a beautiful full moon, stay in your center, stay in the heart. Thank you so much.